Are you waiting on the housing market to crash? Don't. At least that's what the experts are saying. Today's market is different than the Great Recession housing bubble. Home prices are higher than they have ever been, and they're showing no signs of stopping. The median U.S. home price just went up to like $405,000 in March of 2022. That's the first time we've broken the $400,000 threshold. That's an increase of 26.5% in 2 years. Homebuyers might see some similarities between what's happening today and the '06 housing market, where it became increasingly unaffordable until the bubble burst, helping trigger the worldwide financial crisis that became the Great Recession, right? Stressed out homebuyers might be thinking these high prices are another bubble like waiting to pop. In fact, I just read a study that said 77% of homebuyers believe that there is a bubble where they live. The current market and that of the 2000s, they did have some similarities, namely housing prices going up to like an unaffordable level, but the causes are different. Let me explain. The previous bubble came in a period where lenders were much more lax about writing loans. They were giving people loans based on just bank statements or certain criteria that was very minimal. They were able to buy the house they live in under different terms. Mortgage underwriting was considerably more loose back then. It was easier to get a mortgage. That is not the case today. Different home loans, such as adjustable rate mortgages with a big balloon payment due at the end of the term, meant people got into homes that they likely couldn't afford, but they could afford the payments, finding out later that their payments grew and grew and grew dramatically to unaffordable levels. There was a lot of financial engineering and predatory lending. There was a lot of bad borrowing and people not having a lot of equity, not having as much of a cushion. So when they sell, they're upside down. That is what led to the housing bubble. So what can buyers do in this market that makes it different? You know, many buyers think that the market is in a bubble, like we were talking about. They might be tempted to wait for that to kind of burst, right? Some huge economic catastrophe that makes the housing suddenly more affordable. All the experts are cautioning against that. I think you do want to be strategic. You want to be patient, but patient is far different from waiting for a crash. Buyers are going to have to look harder. We're going to have to widen searches. There's ways to get creative that I could help with. If your work is, for instance, like a hybrid, maybe you can work from home some days. Maybe you want to move out a little bit further and consider your commute instead of a daily grind, something you only have to do 2 or 3 times a week. So we have to change how we think about those things, right? So we can get more for our money. That means you could work a little bit further away, but find cheaper housing, and maybe it may be something that fits more for your buck. You can also consider other options. One is new construction. If you haven't already considered that, keep in mind it is a longer lag time, right? So it's going to take a little bit longer, but it could be easier than competing against existing homes with other potential buyers or investors or flippers that have cash. While it costs a little bit more money these days, we can certainly get you closer to exactly what you want if you can take that approach. I know some great trustworthy builders I'd be happy to introduce you to. They're serving people today. Bottom line, any slowdown caused by higher mortgage rates will make the market a little bit easier because buyers who are patient, you know, by the end of summer, we'll have a lot more inventory on the market. There should be a smaller buyer pool because of a little bit of an increase in the interest rate that's been going on. It's going to decrease the amount of competition, right? So be encouraged. Have a real estate teammate that knows how to win in competitive offers, how to network, how to negotiate on your behalf. There is no bubble. Now is a great time to buy and sell.